how do you view this landscape? Because, I mean, I've heard so many different opinions on this show around what's about to come with all these DTC companies. You're saying that you've spotted kind of trouble with like the Allbirds and companies like that who are maybe forced to grow quickly. And you see that in the world of VC of I'll invest in you and you need to return the fund. And now I'm going to own so much of your company that like there's less incentives for the founders to even keep trying. Like, what do you think is to come for the next couple of years in like the world of commerce?
I think that the pure DTC company and its ability to sort of bring a product to market and grow without having a lot of play in marketplaces like Amazon is going to be far harder for the next 10 years than it was for the previous 10 years, mostly because acquisition costs and ease of acquisition that was largely facilitated in the Facebook ecosystem is evaporating as quickly as you can imagine, right? So the ability to just acquire a bunch of new customers and create awareness is going to become much more difficult, which means that a lot of these guys are going to have to try to figure out how to have some kind of wholesale relationships or go right to marketplace earlier in their life cycles than they have today. And when you look at some of the businesses like Biore out there, they sort of have that blend of doing some wholesale and doing their own stores and a very successful website. That probably in the short term is going to be the more natural model. But I think if department store shakeout continues to happen and even Nordstroms of the world struggle more, they're not going to have that avenue either. And so it feels more like what's happening in Europe and Asia to me, where finally in North America, marketplaces are going to kind of take over. Here, it's predominantly Amazon, but I think that when you look at some of the entrants that have gotten a strong foothold in other places like Zalando in Europe, who just bought, Complex, by the way, they just bought a publisher, which is a weird kind of synergy if you think about it, right? And then all the Alibaba properties in Asia, I think that is kind of the future of commerce in general and not just digital commerce. It's already there for all of the beauty startups and a lot of the CPG startups. When they talk about DTC businesses, they're really talking about marketplace businesses and Target, Walmart, and Amazon. I think that it will start to leak into the other sectors as we go through the next 5 to 10 years.
So how can maybe if a brand is just early days today, how would you advise them when thinking about their go-to-market strategy or, how should they even think about that now?
I said all that. It's like it's the doom and gloom of marketplace hell, right? But I think the reality is that some businesses can still come to market, and if they're offering a unique and interesting and compelling omnichannel experience backed up by very, very strong product that's differentiated in some meaningful way in the marketplace and not just chasing trend. And, in the case of apparel in particular, there's got to be something else there that's that really strong point of view that they have that they feel like is completely defensible and they can build a moat around it. But I think in-store experience and that high level of experience is still something that can exist, and not only in that kind of department store environment or luxury department store. So I do believe that if you're able to figure out how to have a strong omni-channel sort of business strategy right out of the gate, and you're thinking about your website, your own stores, and then probably some combination of wholesale and or what your marketplace play is, and you've built your business plan around when to layer in different things and how to create differentiation of product offering so that some of those channels are probably always rolling back in some way to your core DTC offering. DTC still has a place in the world, but you have to think about those other opportunities as key points of acquisition that you want to be able to have, because it'll end up being cheaper than what's going to happen with the other avenues of digital acquisition going forward, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we were in a place, of course, where any founder could really start a company and try and sell anything, even if it didn't really exist. And now it's moving to a place where it feels like you do have to kind of tackle everything at once. Like you have to work on the wholesale while working on the product, while thinking about your logistics and supply chain. And it seems like the world's actually getting like harder, at least here in the US, to start a company, and moving to a place where maybe VC money is needed, whereas for the past couple years, you've actually seen VCs pull back and DTC founders being like, that's fine, we're still going to launch our company and we don't need a bunch of money to launch. It feels like it's getting trickier now to be a new founder in the world of commerce, being like, I want to launch with this kind of brand.
I think especially if you're making any kind of tactile good, if you're a services or, SaaS company and those kind of things, I think the runway is still different. I do believe that even those companies are going to start getting impacted by higher costs of acquisition because many of them were very reliant, even in the B2B space, on pretty strong, pretty inexpensive digital marketing capabilities that I think are starting to erode across the board. Anybody that's trying to make clothing or other types of hard goods and things like that, it probably is going to require some kind of investment because I think the capital to start something up is going to change because you're going to have some kind of physical presence and or a staff that can help you do things like sell into wholesale accounts and or kind of manage marketplaces in an effective way. And there are plenty of great agency relationships in the world that you can have to get those kind of things started, but they all cost money.
Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.